It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And my wonderful guest today is Kimberly Palm, who's an author, a spiritual teacher, an ascension guide, a counselor, a healer. Kimberly does a little bit of everything, and let me bring her on. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hello, Miss Gail. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm honored to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on. I've been sitting here jotting some notes so I make sure I cover everything that I want to say.
Okay, cool. Well, you wanted to talk about multiverse and timeline, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Unless you want to talk a little bit about your books or things, I do have your website listed, yourspiritualjourney.com listed in the description, and they can find everything there, can't they?
Right? Yeah, the only thing that I do want to mention is this coming Saturday, December 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific Coast time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. I am teaching a live manifestation class called Quantum Manifestation, Easily Achieve All Your Dreams, Goals, and Needs. And I'm doing that from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be a 3-hour live seminar. And if you're not able to attend the live seminar, it'll be recorded. And then you can listen to the recording however thousands of times you want to listen to it. And I'm offering a special deal for Black Friday and the holidays that if you sign up for that seminar before it goes to recording, meaning before the live one, before December 2nd, you can email me through my website and send me a copy of your receipt. And I will send you a link to get my past life regression course for free, where you can go in and look at all of your past lives. So I have a past lifetime. It's a pre-recorded meditation. It's a guided, it's really like a hypnotic meditation to go in and look at your past lives. And it's a very safe and gentle way to do it so that, you can't be harmed by it at all because your guides are present and making sure that, and your angels are making sure that nothing happens to you. So it's very safe. And it's a $77 value, and that is free if you sign up for the manifestation course. And the manifestation course is unlike anything you will ever see from, what's his name? Oh my God, The Secret or Abraham Hicks or any of that kind of stuff, because Bob Proctor, all of these different coaches who offer manifesting courses. What happened, Gail, is I had taken over the last, I'm 58 now, over the last umpteen years of my life, I've taken all sorts of manifesting classes, and they never worked for me. They never ever worked for me. And so over the years, I've had to figure out how to manifest on my own, not using those classes, like using maybe parts of the classes. And then doing the rest on my own. And so, and the reason why is because they don't give you the whole ice cream sundae. They just give you the ice cream, but they don't give you the toppings, any of the toppings. They give you nothing, because what they do is upsell you to either private coaching that costs thousands of dollars or a higher, more expensive program that's thousands of dollars. So what I did is I created a 3-hour seminar where you learn every little thing you don't need to know about how to manifest in that one seminar. I don't upsell you to anything whatsoever, other than if you have blocks and you need help clearing those blocks, I'm happy to be the one that does it. But you can go to anyone else to do that, or you can do it yourself. So I'm not upselling anyone, and it's only $111, and all of these other manifesting courses cost way more money than that. And then once they get you in, they upsell you to their $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 whatever thing. And the other
chance.
yeah, and the other thing that all these manifesting classes do is they make you go on your computer every single day for like a week or a month or whatever, and watch a different video and do this ongoing program. I don't do that. Basically, I give you all the information you need in the 1 3-hour seminar, and then you go away with all the tools you need, and then you just work on it whenever you want on your own time. And there are no videos to watch other than my class for 3 hours. And so it's completely different from what everybody's been taught out there. I mean, I embodied in there a few of the concepts they teach you in Law of Attraction and Bob Proctor and all those guys, Abraham Hicks, The Secret. I put a few ideas in there, but the rest of the stuff that I have in this course is stuff that they do not even discuss in any of those manifesting programs. And that's why none of those manifesting programs ever worked for me. They never worked for me. So, so that's Saturday, and you can sign up through my website, spiritualgrowthjourneys.com, just like the name up there, spiritualgrowthjourneys.com, and go to the classes page, and it's the first class on the page is the manifestation workshop. And
let me share the screen, and we can show them your website real quick. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second. Let me find it. Okay.
I'm wearing a coat, by the way, because my office is in my basement and it's freezing ass cold down here.
Okay. I have it on your books part. So,
yeah.
And this is one of your books, Ascension 101.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Real Fountain of Youth, which is stress management, which is extremely important today. And then your book, Walking with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. So, and then there's a description about them and the type of information that you have in there. Let me get out of the book part. And just go straight to your regular page. Or is that it? Oh, maybe that is the same. Okay. Oh, here it is. Yeah. And this is about your being a spiritual.
If you go up to the top there's a part with classes and workshops right there. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's listed there then?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you scroll down, the first one under my Ascension 101 Academy is the new quantum manifestation, easily achieve wishes, goals, and needs.
Okay, cool. And so that if anyone's interested, that's what, just go to spiritual journeys.com, and all of Kimberly's stuff is there.
Yep. And after you enroll, if you send me an email, you can send it to me at info@spiritualgrowthjourneys.com, and then send me a receipt copy or forward me the confirmation or whatever of signing up, and then I'll send you the link to get the past life regression for free. So
cool.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you. Well, I'll take that off. Now, before I just got another question before we start on the multiverse and timelines, and that is, you get messages from Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and I'm wondering, are there any recent ones that you would like to share?
The biggest thing. So thank you for asking. Okay, so I actually got in a kind of argument. I accused him of lying to me. I basically yelled at him because I was really disappointed with the fact that the energy wave, the purification thing hasn't hit the planet yet. And I said, you lied to me. You've been telling me for 3 years now, different dates, and then the dates come and go, and like, what's up with that? And he said, actually, we're not lying. He said, we wanted to keep giving, we wanted to give time to allow Mama Gaia, like Gail of Gaia, Mama Gaia, to heal. And he actually called her Gaia. He didn't say Mama Gaia, but he said we wanted to give Gaia time to heal. he said the cabal over the last several thousand years has done a lot of damage, and apparently the Galactic Federation, the good ones, not the bad ones, the good ETs, have been sending special frequencies down to the Earth and doing a lot of repair on this planet and on all of the ley lines and the grid lines and all the parts of this planet. They've been working on repairing it and putting her kind of back together again, because she's been destroyed quite a bit by the cabal, by the Draco reptilians.
I heard that. Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
And so he said we were giving her more time. He showed me a vision. It was really scary and horrible. He basically showed me the planet like breaking apart, like a smashed cookie, like into a lot of pieces. And he said, this is what would happen to the planet if we didn't allow her time to heal before the wave hits. And then he said basically everything we'd all die at the same time, and that's it. No more Earth. We're done. So
well, we don't want that.
No, and then he said the other reason they're waiting for more people to wake up, because whoever's not awake at the time the wave hits are most likely leaving here for good. They're not coming back. So
they're what? What was that?
Hmm?
What would happen to them? I didn't hear what you said.
If they're not awake by the time the wave hits, they're out of here. They're not going to be here anymore.
So go to a different planet, or are you talking about
some of them go back home to heaven if they're, decent human beings? They'll get a life review and everything, and then if they're they're still in 3D, so then they may hang out in heaven for a while. They may go through some rehab there, but then they're going to be sent off to another 3D planet.
Oh, okay.
They have to have more incarnations until they figure out that they need to be nicer. And then the really evil ones, if they're really, 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 really horribly evil, we're talking the kind of evil where they have no capacity for love or to change or to anything. Those will be obliterated and recycled back to source. The one like the demons, they're going to be obliterated. A lot of the Draco will too. The ones that do have developed a capacity for possible change will also be sent to a 3D planet where they'll be locked down just like they did to us, and they'll get to experience all kinds of harrowing experiences with war and destruction and AI and this and that and whatever. So they'll go live that out. That's going to be their hell, basically. And that's basically what's going to happen. So if you have family who doesn't wake up, they're going to be sent home temporarily back to heaven, and then at some point they're going to be sent off to another 3D planet until they figure things out.
Well, what level of awake are we talking about?
We're talking just they need to understand that they're in a false matrix, that this is all a lie, like everything's been a lie. They've been lied to.
An illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all an illusion. When they know that this is an illusion, then they're going to be ready to go to the next step.
Okay.
If they don't wake up and know that, they're not ready to go to the next step, Gail.
Okay. So they would want to be able to know that this is a holographic simulation. That's an illusion created by the Dracos.
Yep.
Was it mainly? Yeah.
Yep.
And so, okay.
Yeah, and it's not that the Earth is a holographic simulation, because that's actually not true. They put a holographic trap around this planet that captures souls. So when you would die, up until recent times, up until a few years ago, everybody who died on this planet who was a human, their soul would get trapped in the false matrix, holograph, whatever you want to call it, and then it would be recycled back into another suffering contract over and over.
Was there some kind of frequency fence or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Has that been removed?
That was removed a couple years ago. Okay. Yeah, and all the souls were freed that were trapped in that. They were all freed. And a lot of light workers were working on helping to usher them over, because a lot of them were like in shock and didn't know where to go. And so there were a lot of light workers assisting all of those souls to cross over to the other side. So,
wow.
Yeah, but now if you die, you're not going to get trapped in that false matrix trap anymore, a black box, which is another thing that they do. You won't be trapped in that anymore, because they got rid of all that, the good guys. When I say they, the galactics and the angelics and stuff working together in unison, they took that all down.
What are they doing that will help Gaia?
So they're
What kinds of
sending
things?
frequencies, they're sending healing frequencies to this planet. And, sometimes when people are hearing those crazy sounds that sound like trumpets and stuff, some of that is
Mhm.
some of the frequencies that they're using.
Oh,
But
okay.
so they're not all bad. Everybody thinks that those sounds they're hearing are bad, but
So,
not necessarily, because they're using a lot of different frequencies to help heal
mhm.
the underneaths of this world. And what people need to understand is when we say heal the planet, it's not just about healing the portion where we humans are existing on the surface here. There's multiple layers to this planet. There's
Mhm.
one layer down where the tunnels are, where they traffic all the children. Then there's another layer down where they have cities where there's beings that live,
It's
like Taros
amazing.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then there's Agartha, which is in the center of the earth, and it's just like Tolkien wrote about in Lord of the Rings. In fact, I don't know if your listeners
Wow.
know this, Gail,
Hmm.
but Tolkien, how he wrote the series Lord of the Rings is he went to the British Library and he found books that were actually the journals of the explorers that found Agartha. So there was a group of explorers in the 1800s that discovered Agartha, and they took pictures while they were down there and everything, and they wrote journals explaining all the different types of people and beings they came in contact with, and they put it all in these journals, and they were in the British Library, and Tolkien got a hold of those, and that is how he wrote Lord of the Rings and all of his books.
Ah, isn't
And
that
so the
interesting?
thing is, and I've actually seen the photos. They actually released them on the internet. They've been floating around on the internet, the pictures that came from these journals of all the beings. And you have like hobbit-like creatures. You've got weird alien-looking creatures in there. You've got humans. You've got giants, of course. You've got dragons. You've got all sorts of different types of species of animals that nobody on the surface has ever seen before. Pterodactyls down there. You've got all kinds of crazy stuff down there. So,
And they live in harmony?
yes, they do. See, the difference between Agartha and here is in Agartha, there aren't wars and destruction, and they live the way they did back in Atlantean times. Everybody's peaceful down there.
Will we get Earth to that point?
When we go to 5D, absolutely. I mean, until
Mhm.
then, but you got to get all the riffraff off the planet first because there's too many troublemakers here who just want to continue making war
Yeah,
and trouble. And so
definitely.
until the narcissists are expelled from planet Earth, or as Yeshua calls it, purging, he says until the evil is purged from the earth, is how he put it. You're going to be having these wars and all these, things going on here.
Where are we at in that purging? Does he give you any indication?
Well, there's some that are being purged right now. There are slowly people, and that's because of the alliance working with the galactics and stuff, and all the people who are being Gitmoed, as they call it. You got all those people being Gitmoed. So, and they are getting, and then the galactics have gotten rid of the gray factions. Most of them. There's still a few floating around, believe it or not, because I've had to encounter them. I've actually had encounters a lot of encounters recently with grays and reptilians trying to infiltrate me or trying to mess with me. And
Wow.
what they don't know about me is the fact that I can see them, because what they do is they go to people who are psychics and spiritual people, and when they're
Mhm, mhm.
meditating, they
Yeah,
will
a friend was just telling me about she's being bothered on a regular basis
yeah,
by
they're
some
bothering
beings.
me. But here's the thing is they holographically disguise themselves as like other beings. Like they can make themselves look like Jesus,
Whoever.
Yeshua, or they can make themselves look like Babaji or Buddha or Mother Mary or whoever they want to make themselves look like. And then they give it, or Archangel Michael is another one, and they give like erroneous, information. And so what they don't understand about me is one of my psychic gifts is seeing the soul, seeing the being that's inside the skin, like the skin suit or the holograph. So if they show me a holograph, I can see who is it hiding behind the holograph. So they will
Oh,
pop
cool.
into me during meditation and they're trying to spoof me and make me think they're somebody else, but I can see them exactly how they really look, which is scary as Fuck. I mean, they look so scary. They look so scary. Sometimes they scare
You mean they're not beautiful like most of the pictures we see of?
God, no, when I'm in meditation, sometimes I literally jump a foot off my chair when they pop in. Like they'll pop in because they're just so vile looking, and especially a lot of the grays that have been popping in lately, they're really scary looking.
Aren't they
They're
going to get
actually scarier
removed?
than the reptiles, I think.
Aren't they going to get removed?
Yeah, well, when the wave hits, they're all going to be purged, but they're slowly. So here's what everybody needs to understand about all this. There's over 200 million minions working for the bad guys.
200 million?
Yeah, that's how many on this
Wow.
planet. What am I
That's a
talking about?
lot.
I'm talking about bad cops, bad judges, bad politicians, bad people in lawmaking and legislature and administration, bad people working in the school districts,
Healthcare.
bad people working in all of the different areas of all the systems, the financial systems,
Healthcare.
the food, the healthcare system, the
Education.
all of it, education,
Yeah.
all of it, you know, the school
That's-
systems, all of that, and the food systems, the ones who put all the poison and GMO in the foods and your Monsantos and all your chemical companies. When you look at the number of minions, meaning they're working for the dark,
200
trying to
million.
depopulate the planet and trying to control us and blah, 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 there's 200 million of those guys. The people called the white hats are just a tiny group of people. How does a tiny group of people take down 200 million people? Well, either it happens over a really long period of time, very slowly, or you have some intervention.
We need intervention.
They're intervening to a certain standpoint. You know, there's a certain amount that they're intervening, but somebody asked if I can post the Agartha images online.
Yeah, I was going to put that up for you.
I don't have them. I've seen them, but I never saved them, and I don't know where they are, so I can't help you with that. You got to go research it yourself. Because I mean, I've looked at them, and then I move on with the next thing in my life, and I don't.
I've seen some myself, and I don't know where they are anymore either.
Yeah, I don't hold on to them, but anyways, so people need to understand or understand. We don't want to use that word under because that's bad. You want to understand that you have a way more amount of bad guys, and then on top of it, originally we had 81 billion demons on this planet because Yeshua had told me there were 9 demons.
1 billion?
Yeah, because there were 9, because Satan and Lucifer placed 9 demons for each human on this planet. And then they turned CERN on and they opened a portal to the fourth dimension, not fourth density, those two different things, density and dimension. They opened a portal to the fourth dimension, which is where all of the negative entities come from, and they let in billions more. So this whole planet is swarming with bad guys.
And they're bothering people.
All the spiritual people are being harassed and attacked on a daily basis. All my friends are all being attacked physically with their health while they're sleeping, being attacked in their meditations. I mean, it's not just me, it's all of us. Like all of my friends I check in with are getting attacked.
One way or another.
It's ramping up worse and worse because they know that their days are numbered and they're about to get booted. Because when the wave hits, the purification wave, which is going to be more like a fog thing that's going to fill everything up, when that hits, they're all gone. They get obliterated.
Now, is that the same thing when people are talking about the solar flash?
Okay, so
you're
the
talking
solar
a wave.
flash,
you want to talk about the difference?
Yeah, the solar flash is different than this. The solar flash actually started in 2012. And they call it the Great Solar Flash. But if they were to do it all at once, our bodies would disintegrate because we wouldn't be able to handle the heat. Mm-hmm. So they give us bursts of photon light energy from the sun. And that's why you'll see these plasma bursts that come through. And when they come through, everybody has weird symptoms. They're upgrading us with that slow, very slow upgrades to our body. We're going from carbon-based to crystalline. And then our DNA is getting activated by the sun, which is part of why they spray all the chemtrails. They're doing it because they're trying to block your ascension. because the sun is what's used to ascend us. It's what raises, it's what activates our DNA and turns us crystalline. And so they figure if they keep spraying all that stuff, they block the sun and they're going to block our ascension. But they have a rude awakening because you can't block what's coming. You can't stop what's coming.
Nothing can stop what's coming. That's what we keep.
You can't stop it.
Are we in the photon belt now, or haven't we reached it yet?
I've never asked that question. Let me ask, are we in the photon belt now? Are we in the photon belt now? No.
That's what I thought. We're not quite there yet. Do we have far to go before we get there?
Are we even headed towards the photon? Because I don't even know if we are or not. I don't really know anything about that.
That's
we headed towards the photon belt? Are we headed towards the photon belt? I'm getting no on that. I'm personally getting no on that. So I don't know what that's all about.
Okay.
I don't
have to look into that further.
I don't think that's a thing. I think some of the stuff is made up by people.
Oh, well, that could be. I mean,
because it's never been told me. Put it this way, stuff that's important that I need to know, these guys tell me. They tell me all this stuff that I need to know. Like I got woken up the other morning with my next mission on Earth that I'm supposed to be doing. Like I get given like different missions. Like now you're going to do this. Now you're going to do that. Like now you're going to use energy and heal people, or now you're going to do, whatever. And so I just got my new mission, which has to do with peace and love. It's a whole piece, and I'm not going to go into it on here, but it has to do with peace and love.
Well, those are very high vibrations.
Yeah, but that's my new it's my new mission was given to me. I got woken up with that, and when they have important information I need to know about, like they'll call me up on the interstellar hotline and go, "Hey Kimberly, the Earth headed into the photon belt." They would tell me that, but they haven't, which tells me it's not a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they talk about that all the time. A lot of people, a lot of light workers talk about the photon belt and getting into the photon belt because this is what they say. The more we get into that belt, it's kind of like the light codes that are coming in and are going to activate the DNA and all that kind of stuff. So.
Just a second. I just heard something interesting. Just a second. I just heard, you know what I just heard?
What?
It's not that we're going into the photon belt. The photon belt's coming to us. That's what I just heard.
Okay. Well, I don't care how we get it. I guess, whether it comes to us or we go there or whatever.
No, it's coming.
I don't know how this, it passes through there.
It's moving towards us. It's not us moving. We're not moving, I guess. It's moving.
Oh, okay.
Let me ask, is that the photon belt's moving? So when is the photon belt going to be here? When is the photon belt going to be here? Is it soon? Okay, so approximately, so as of right now, this is this minute. Now, when I predict future events, I always give a disclaimer that their time on the other side is different than ours, but I'm hearing like 3 months out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so
by our time.
The time, yeah, but I'm not going to guarantee the time.
Yeah, no time. Yeah,
time, like they'll tell me, a month, and then it's like a year, so I mean their time is different, but it is headed towards us. That's what I heard. So
okay,
it's coming.
So it's not totally bogus or anything like that then.
No, it's not totally bogus. It's just that we're not moving towards it. It's coming.
Okay, that's interesting.
Towards
it's coming to us. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But that does have an effect on us, correct?
Oh, hell yeah. That would be
to put it bluntly.
Yeah, no, that would change a lot of things.
Okay. For the better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. So what about timelines? Where are we in that regard?
Okay, so I want to talk about, because people see timeline. So first of all, I want to explain that time is really a thing inside of Earth. Outside of Earth, there's no such thing as time. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were like a Pleiadian or somebody like that, they don't have a clock on the wall. They're not clocking time like that. They don't do that. That's totally an earth thing. It was created to
that part of the
minimize
slave?
this.
Is that part of the slave system,
Part of
more or
the
less?
enslavement
Yes.
system.
Okay.
Yeah, the clocks and all that, clock watching. I actually did a whole presentation about clock watching. I think I might have even did a video on my YouTube channel about clock watching and all of the trauma and stress it causes.
Yeah,
you know how
you
much
have to get to
trauma and
work on
stress-
time, and
Yeah,
you know,
do
all
you know
that
how
kind of
much
stuff.
trauma and stress
A
the
lot.
clock watching causes? And oh my God, I'm running short on time. I'm running, and then you put these wrong beliefs, and when you think something and you say it, it creates it and attracts it to you, which is what I'm going to talk about in my manifesting course. Everything you think and believe and you say out of your mouth, you're creating that. So when you're saying I don't have enough time or I'm running out of time, you're literally creating that for yourself. You know, instead we should be saying there is no such thing as time and everything will happen when it happens.
That sounds like Indian time. I used to hear him
it
talk
all
about
happens
that.
when it happens, you know. So that's really what we should be saying. So people first need to understand that time is a human enslavement concept. The second thing is the timelines that were created, all of these what they call bad timelines, those were just done since the bad ETs started messing with us, working with the Draco and working with the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, since they started doing CERN and all of these things. So the bad timelines have been created using technologies that were given to what we call the military industrial complex.
So could you call them like phantom timelines? They're not really real.
No, they're real. They're real. They are.
No, I mean, they're
real.
I guess that's not the way I meant to describe it. They're, I mean, because we perceive them as real and can get trapped in them or whatever, but it just means that they were created by bad guys. Is basically
they were created by bad guys. So here's what everybody needs to understand is up until the Greys came here in the I think it was the very beginning of the 40s. It was still during the Holocaust with the Nazis, and they gave the technology to the Nazis first. The Nazis were the first one to start screwing with the timeline continuum. They were the first ones to start screwing with it. Okay. And so once they gave them all of the equipment and the technology and the moon technology and all this stuff, and then they gave it to the American industrial military complex when the Greys met with Eisenhower and all that kind of stuff. Once they started giving the technology in exchange for human slaves and human test subjects and all that.
Abduction allowances.
Yeah, human abductions and all that. Then they started messing with all the timelines. Okay, especially when the humans started doing space travel and setting up stations on the moon and Mars and all the stuff that they did. That's when they started creating these alternate timelines. And the alternate timelines are not the past, just so you understand. The alternate timelines that they created are our future, the future of Earth. So timelines where there's nuclear war, timelines where there's another Holocaust, timelines where there's dystopia, timelines where it's just, you know, obliteration, timelines where we all turn into AI robots, you know, all of those timelines. Those are the ones that they create when they turn CERN on and they do all their other things that they do. But before they even created CERN, they were already messing with these timelines because they already had alien technology to do that. So there's a difference between creating new timelines and like going back in time and trying to change the timeline. That's like those are just two different things. And the thing is that they can change it, but it's not what they think it is. Like every time they try to do something, what they forget about, Gail, is that God is in charge. God is in charge.
Especially now more than ever. The time is coming to an end.
They kept trying to go back in time and annihilate Jesus and make it so he didn't exist and all kinds of stuff like that. And they weren't able to do it, you know?
No, I heard from someone else, I think it was Frank Jacob and Gene Nolan, about the J-Rods who have come back from the future to, I guess, to warn people or try to tell them that you don't want to become a robot.
Well, they
Or you
came
don't
from the
want to, yeah,
dystopian timeline. They came from a
okay,
different timeline, right? So one
I
of the
guess.
things, yeah. So one of the things you all need to know is there is a whole group of us that are part of what we call the 144. And I'm going to have actually, so just so you all know this, I'm going to have Jenny Lee on. Her and I are going to get together and we're going to do a live on Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time. And we're going to be talking about the 144 because she got a lot of info about that. The 144 has a lot of different meanings to it. In some places, it's about DNA. In some places, it's about light workers. In some places, it's about angels. It's got a lot of different meanings to it. But when I'm talking about it here for this purpose, I'm talking about the 144,000 warrior angels that came here to help for the ascension. At night, when our physical bodies are sleeping, we're going out and shutting down all those bad timelines. Every time they turn CERN on or they do these things that they're doing, we have to keep going in and shutting these timelines down. And I've shut down umpteen nuclear war timelines already. I've already shut down a whole bunch of dystopian timelines.
How do you shut them down? How do you do that? I mean, I mean,
we go in there and we I can't even explain it because I can't wrap my human mind because I'm not in my human brain when I'm there. I'm in my
oh, okay.
12 density, but we have technologies. We have like metaphysical, we have like, it's not like I don't have a gadget in my hands here. I can show you because it's angelic technology that we use when we go in, but we have it. Think of it. Okay. They're saying it's kind of like a giant universe vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
So they're saying it's like a universe vacuum cleaner and we're like sucking it off. we're sucking the whole thing into the universe vacuum cleaner. So it's kind of like that, but there's more to it than that. But it's too, I can't explain it. I can't articulate it. Like I just know when I go in and I have the experience, but to be able to articulate it to humans with human ears and human brains, it's almost impossible.
It's hard to wrap your head around it at that point. Yeah.
I know that I'm not crazy and B, I'm not lying is because I have a whole bunch of other friends who do this every night and we all share our stories and sometimes we run into each other. So like I'll meet up with them and then I'll call them the next day and say, what were you doing there? And they'll say, well, I was blah, blah, blah. One of my friends, one time I went and there was a timeline where this school was getting taken over by ghosts and demons. Like it was really nasty. It was like a college, a university. It was getting taken over by all these demonic like things. And I went in and I had somebody show up that I knew. She showed up. I called her the next day. I said, why were you there? She said, I followed you in case everything went south. I was your backup. She said in case I didn't do what I was supposed to do properly, she was supposed to back me up, basically. Oh, wow. So there's a lot of other people. We run into each other all the time. I'll sometimes run into the same people over and over again in these different because this is a team. It's not just me doing it. There's 144,000 of us doing it. So we all go in and we do this and we're working as teams, if that makes sense. So I can't single-handedly do it myself. I don't have that ability, but when you have 144,000 angels, and some of these angels, when they're in their pure forms, they're 20 feet tall, 40 feet tall, 100 feet tall, when they're in their 12D self, so there's a lot of us that are, and we're going in and we're shutting down those timelines. We're trying to get it onto what we call the singularity, which is the one Ascension timeline, just the one main good timeline that we had before the bad guys came in and started effing with all the timelines.
Now I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, that there were the bifurcation of timelines taking place. Like there's a good timeline, and then there's a I guess I would call it a negative timeline, or unawake timeline or a nasty people timeline. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're going to split off into two sometime soon here, where some people go one way and some people go the other way. But that, I believe, is when that wave hits.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, okay. What about, here's another area that people are find of interest and can be kind of hard to wrap your head around too, but parallel universes. You want to address that? What you know about
so
that?
first I want to point out to everybody, thank you for asking me that. I want to point out to everybody that Marvel, Disney Marvel, like the Avengers and all that, that's actually like a white hat operation, and they're showing you a lot of truth in all of those shows. So if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy and you watch the Avengers and you watch Doctor Strange specifically, Spider-Man in the Multiverse, which was a famous cartoon, and then the newest TV series that they had that I just finished is called Loki. I just finished season 2. In Loki, they showed you the truth. They showed you that there's multiple versions of you. So I wrote notes so I can remember to what I'm supposed to say. So basically, there are hundreds of actual universes. There are hundreds and hundreds of universes, maybe thousands of universes. However, there's 22 universes that are what you call a parallel universe. It's an exact copy of Earth with a different version of you. It's you having a different experience. So, for example, I found multiple timelines of me where in one I was still a little girl, in another I was a doctor, in another one I was single and I wasn't married and I never had my children. And a bunch of these timelines, my parents are still alive, which they've been dead for 17, 18 years. My dad's been gone 18 years. My mom's been gone 17 years. And there's timeline versions of me where my parents are still here. And there's versions, my parents stayed married till they died. You know, they loved each other. But there's some of these versions of me where my parents are split up and divorced. And my dad's remarried or has a girlfriend. There's some where my dad looks really young and fit. And so I've been to all of these alternative versions of me, and there's a total of 22 parallel universes where there are 21 other.
And that would be your
that
would be your multi-dimensional self.
Yes.
On these parallel.
Yeah, because we're multi-dimensional beings, and there's all sorts of versions of us out there. And if you ask who created that, the Cabal did not create the parallel universes. We, as a collective consciousness, created those. We created those. So we're the ones who did it. And don't even ask me how we did it, because all that is just way over my head. I don't even know. Maybe someday I'll get the information when my brain is more expanded and ready for it. But all I know is the facts, the very basic facts, which is there's hundreds of actual universes out there in space, but there's 22 parallel ones where there's 21. So there's 21. So 22 includes this one we're in. Okay. So there's 21 other versions of Gail and Kimberly out there in other parallel universes. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard something to that before. That's also, a little bit difficult for people to imagine. But isn't it true that our spirit is huge and we actually have enough spirit to fill all of those different
because if you read my book, Ascension 101, A Roadmap for Your Soul, I talk about what's called your oversoul, your higher self. Sorry, I'm getting hot now. I'm having a hot flash. So
I'll have to review that again. Yeah.
I was really cold and now I'm really hot, so I had to get my coat off. Sorry about that. In Ascension 101, I have a whole chapter talking about that, about what your soul, all the different components of your soul. Mm-hmm. But basically, you can have an oversoul, a higher self. And in the Harry Potter movies, they showed you how you can fractal your soul into different portions. And you can place one version of you and a Kimberly and another one and somebody else. There could be 20 people on Earth right now at the same time as me who have a portion of my oversoul in it.
Oh, wow. I haven't. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that aspect. That's interesting.
Yeah. So and I'm not a fully here soul. a small portion of my higher self, because my higher self is about 10 feet tall and is what's called an Elohim angel. I'm out there creating universes and star systems and planets and all that kind of stuff. I'm busy, but a portion of that is in me right now. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Now, depending on the amount of spirit in each, unless you would equally divide them, would some say some versions of yourself in some of the worlds, if you will, might be stronger than others in terms of the spiritual strength. Does that make any sense? You know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Some of them are going to be more spiritually adept than others, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's going to be some that are more like a caveman, and others that are, more higher evolved, even more higher evolved version of us, like in, like a futuristic kind of a thing. But yeah, and then so your oversoul can definitely have all these different experiences and these different versions of you. And then what happens is when those physical bodies die, the physical, what we call the meat suit or the costume you wear to have these learning experiences, that fractal or portion of that soul joins back up again with the oversoul, and then the oversoul retains all those memories and experiences. Does that make sense?
Wow. I think so.
Yeah. So for example, let's say that there's 20 different Gails. Okay. Every one of you, when each one of those Gail bodies dies, that fractal joint it's like a rocket that goes back up to the mothership. Think of yourself as your oversoul as a mothership.
Okay.
The little small rocket joins back up with the mothership and then downloads all the information into the mothership. So all the experiences that specific Gail had will go back into the mothership.
So then you would have the option of creating another version of yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
Back where you were before, to either carry on or gain some new experiences.
Yep, really? Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Okay.
So like I know for myself, this is just my own personal thing, is there are not any other parts of me on this earth in this dimension at this time in this universe with me right now. All the other parts of me are in those parallel universes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I do have clients that I've done readings for where they had like 4 or 5 other people on the earth right now at this time that had fractals of whatever their oversoul was in them.
Would they necessarily look similar, or would they have a different? No. They wouldn't. They'd be totally different.
Some might be Black, some might be Asian, some might be Hispanic. I mean, they can be all kinds of different things.
Oh, okay.
They could be a girl, they could be a boy, they could be, whatever, one of the other ones, they could be.
When it comes to spirit, none of that really matters that much. It's just the experience as a result of
just
the avatar.
All of that whole thing about sexual identification and all that, that's just all an earth thing, because your spirit doesn't, it's not a thing with the spirit. So
that's a whole nother area of craziness. Let's see. Now I heard you say there's a difference between dimensions and what was the other thing?
Dimensions and density. So a density is the consciousness level. So the earth was downgraded to third density fear consciousness by the Draco during the fall of Atlantis. We fell down.
We fall in consciousness.
Yeah, we had a fall in conscissness from a 5D consciousness, which is love and
peace and harmony,
and peace and unity, all that, down into 3D. And 3D is fear and narcissism and hate and meanness and nastiness and murdering and raping and pillaging and thieving and killing and competing against each other and bullying each other and controlling each other and manipulating and on and on and on. That's all 3D. I talk about that in Ascension 101. I break down the different consciousnesses in that book and explain each one. The next level up, which is 4th density, is love, service to others instead of service to self, because 3D is service to self. 4D is service to others, love, unity, consciousness, compassion, kindness, respect, all those wonderful things. 5D is what I call the supernatural, because when you get to 5th density, that's where, when you're a 5th density being, you remember who you were before you came here. You have superpowers, you're like a superhero, you're like the Avengers or the X-Men, because you have telepathy and teleportation, and you can move, telekinesis, you can move objects with your mind, and that's how they built the
Now,
pyramid.
is this a result of DNA activation? Because I know Jenny is very anti-DNA stuff. So
so what happened is we originally had like as high as 144 strands of DNA activated, as high as that, and then they deactivated us all the way down to 2 strands, and that was Enki and Enlil, who were these 2 Anunnaki biologists that came to Earth. They wanted to create a slave race, so they took this was after Atlantis fell. They took the humans that were here and they edited us from crystalline 12 strands and higher up to 144, and then they decreased us down to 2 strands activated DNA and carbon-based life forms. What does that mean? That means we get sick, we die, we don't live very long lives. I mean, there was a time like ancient Egypt where if you lived to 14, it was a miracle. You didn't live very old. Medieval ages too, the dark ages, the same thing. People who lived past 20s, that was like an old age. Because they made it so that we'd be just a slave race. We would work really hard for a few years for them, and then we kick the bucket, and then you replace us over and over. And
nice guys.
Yeah.
Now, were these rogue? Were these rogue Anunnaki, or is that just the character of Anunnakis in general?
There are good Anunnaki and bad Anunnaki, just like there's good humans and bad humans.
These were the bad Anunnaki that did this.
Ones.
Because there's supposed to be a prime directive. You're not supposed to interfere.
Yeah, there are Anunnakis that are really good. Yeah, they were actually breaking what's called the Law of One, which is what the Essenes followed. It's what Atlanteans and Lemurians followed, the Law of One. And the number one law is not to interfere with others' free will.
Oh, okay, so there's truth in that. Wow.
Yeah.
What is this that they say about you have to be 51%, at least 51% service to others?
Service to others.
That's true.
Ascend. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're 50% or less, then you're going to the other place, not the good one.
How do they measure that?
By your actions and your deeds.
Okay. So
the Bible actually says that. There's all these idiots out there saying, you're going to go to hell unless you follow Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it actually says in their Bible that they're speaking about. It says you will be judged by the deeds that you do on earth. You get a life review, and they're going to make you look at how you behaved when you died. They watch everything. It's all recorded into the Akashic records. Every thought that you think in your brain, everything that comes out of your mouth, and every action you take is recorded into the Akash, and you're being monitored 24/7.
So swearing might not be a good idea, huh?
No, I talk about swearing a lot. I swear a lot. It's just an expression. Now, swearing can be positive energy or negative energy. And let me explain the difference. If you use swearing to be mean or nasty to somebody, it makes it bad. If you're using it like to say, oh man, what the PHUCK, what the fuck? If you're just saying an expression, or you're expressing yourself or expressing your emotions, like I slam my finger in the closet door and I go, that I'm swearing. Yeah.
How can that be bad?
That's an expression of your emotions, your feelings, you're just expressing yourself. There's a difference between that and using bad verbiage to harm somebody. If you're using it to hurt somebody, or to hurt them, or hurt their feelings, criticize them. Like if somebody, for example, I've had people call me an effing idiot before. When they're doing that to me, they're creating negative energy for themselves. Because I don't call people names. When you're name calling, when you're swearing at somebody, you effing bitch, you hoe, you blah, 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 blah. When you're doing that, that is going to be a problem. That's bad. That's vile and negative energy. And the universe is a big boomerang of energy. The universal field, the field of energy, everything you put in comes right back at you. So when you're putting meanness and hate and vileness and all that stuff into that, it's going to come right back at you.
Well, what about this? What if somebody is either under the influence or can they be overly influenced by a negative spirit, for example, a demon? What if they have a lot of people have attachments, right?
Yeah, there's people all over the world that have attachments, and there's people who are actually possessed by a demon. There's a demon in them, like physically in them.
Oh, wow. How would they get something like that out?
They're not going to be able to. If they had a demon go in them, it takes exorcists and psychics and light workers to clear that out of them. And I've seen miracles happen for people where there were people taken over by demons and then they got exorcised and now they're living a happy life again. You know, it happens. It happens. But well, just keep in mind, all things are temporary. All things are temporary.
Oh, okay.
Except for your soul, and except for love, and except for the energy and the frequency of the universe. Those things go on forever and ever and ever. But the rest of things on this earth, everything in the 3D is temporary. So even hauntings are temporary, okay? Like, let's say my house becomes haunted. It's not going to be haunted for eternity. It's going to be haunted for a couple hundred years. Because at some point, either the angels will come and get that ghost, that person that's stuck.
Those are so they didn't cross over, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, everything on this 3D plane, with the exception of your soul, because your soul's not 3D. Your soul is 7D. Your soul's made in heaven, which is 7D. Everything on this 3D plane is temporary. Your house is temporary. Your car is temporary. My fingernails are even temporary. I mean, the body is temporary. The body dies.
We don't leave here with a U-Haul either, do we?
No. And you know what I tell everybody? What you need to be focusing on every day is creating happiness and love every day of your life. Because when you die, you're not going to be able to take with you your car, your house, your gold, your jewelry. None of that comes with you when you die. The only thing that comes with you is your memories and experiences and the love.
Your consciousness, basically. Wow.
The love goes on forever and it comes with you everywhere you go. And the memories, the experiences, that's why when people give me gifts, I would prefer they give me the gift of tickets to the ballet or tickets to France or something like that, because I want to go have the memories and the experiences. I don't want the material objects. I can't do anything with those material objects. You know, I need to be able to wear clothing. I need to be able to eat food. Those are things I need, but stuff I don't need, I don't want. I don't want things that I don't need. I want the things I need. What do I need? I need to make memories and experiences.
That's really that's nice. Okay. What's the difference between eternal and immortal? They've been using those words interchangeably, and I've been led to believe there's a difference, even though they sound the same.
I think there's a very slight difference, and then there's crossover. I think they can be different, but then they also cross over too. So it's kind of both. Because if you're an eternal being and you're an immortal being, an immortal means you can't be killed. You go on forever and ever. And eternal.
And is that this 3D? Is that this, the avatar that becomes immortal, or but the soul is eternal?
So let me explain the difference. So they're telling me, because I'm not good at this kind of stuff. So they're telling me what to say, and what I'm hearing to say right now is that eternal refers to pretty much anything eternal. Could be eternal love, eternal youth, eternal this, eternal that, whereas immortal only has reference to a human or a being or a person. So the word eternal is anything. It could be eternal love, eternal hate, eternal gold, eternal, it could be eternal anything, but immortal is only referencing, it can only be used in reference to a soul or a person, like an actual person, when you're talking about an immortal. When they're an immortal, like there's actually like a show that was called The Immortals. It was about vampires.
Oh, wow.
Because
Yeah.
they go
Well, see,
on-
that's what I was getting at. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I was getting at. Not that they were vampires,
Yeah.
but the immortal part is the continuation of a mortal body. Let me put it
Yeah,
that way.
immortal
And the
means
soul
that you're
eternal. Yeah.
yeah, the immortal really
I
is
don't
more
know.
about the body, meaning that it goes that the body. So if you're an immortal, you could be like a demigod, like a Thor or a Loki or a Zeus or somebody. They're an immortal because they're an embodied being that that just keeps going on for thousands of years. So they're an actual immortal. That's what they are, is they're immortal. And your soul, the soul that is in some humans, and I talk about this, I break this down all the time for people. There's a difference between a mortal soul, mortal, an angelic soul, an elemental soul, and a celestial being. So
now you're going to have to explain that.
Okay, so mortals is the easiest one to explain. Those are just like you and me or whoever, people who are on the earth who go into a body. Then you have an elemental soul. An elemental soul is a multi-dimensional being, like a fairy, where it can shift in and out of different dimensions and timelines and bing here and there and anywhere it wants to go anytime it wants. Okay, it can
that
just
must
go
be fun to
wherever
be.
it wants.
That'd be fun to be one of those.
Yeah, like a djinn, like a
I wouldn't want to be
fairy,
Jin though.
like those kind of things. Dragons are elementals. Unicorns are elementals. Those are elementals. They can Pegasus horse, whatever. Some of them are elementals, and they can pop in and out of different. Bigfoot is also an elemental, believe it or not. But Yeti is an elemental. So
Oh, okay.
they're an earth guardian.
Now, what about you? You mentioned an angel soul. What's
and then if you're one of the angels, so God created archangels and then different ranks of actual angels. They didn't have a soul in the angel. They weren't an angel body with a soul in it. The actual soul is an angel, and then angels can be in a human. Like I have a fractal of my higher self, angel, and me. So angels can go into a human. Angels can go into a Pleiadian or into an Arcturian or into anything they want. But the soul is an angel. That's the soul. The soul's an angel versus a mortal soul. And they can't become one or the other. So once you're an elemental soul, you can't become immortal. Once you're an angel, you can't become an elemental or immortal. They can't cross over. That'd be like changing a zebra's stripes. Your soul was created by God back billions of years ago, however it was created.
Okay. You had mentioned I have a fractal of angelic.
You're an angelic fractal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, you are. I knew that the first time I laid eyes on you, because I can see people. I see people. I can see who they are. So it's like, oh, there's another one.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay. Somebody put a comment. They couldn't see me doing that. I had the lights turned off. I'm not sure what that's
I don't know what that
in
was
reference
referencing.
to. I don't either. So if you have something else to say, you might want to explain yourself. New England dirt roadie.
Yeah, so I want to go back to talking about, and I mean, I'm going to be spoiler alerting this. Spoiler alert, the TV show Loki. So the TV show Loki shows you these people that work at this like place, and they don't even know where they are, but they're basically controlling all these different timelines. And then there's different versions of Loki in each one of these timelines. And in some of them, he's a woman. And in some of them, he is a British guy. And in some of them, he is a little short midget. And in some of them, he looked different, but it's
Isn't
still
it
him.
amazing how some of these shows are actually trying to teach people something, but people just think it's fantasy. They don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
As being any kind of possibility.
And then the ending episode of season 2 shows you the tree of life and all kinds of cool shit in there, and I mean, just amazing stuff. But all of these Marvel universe things it's all soft disclosure. It's what they call soft disclosure, because it's controlled by the White Hats, and it's all about, because the Cabal, their movies and TV shows are all about showing you dystopia and horror movies and end of the world and terrible things they want to do to you. But the Marvel,
all negative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Okay, he answered. It was a joke referencing the Akashic records. Couldn't see. Okay.
That's funny. Good old Akashic records. Yeah, he said they can't see me because I have the lights turned off.
Yeah. So he's going through the Akashic records, right? Okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
anyway,
it is.
He's got a good sense of humor. All right. Any other questions?
What about, can you explain what dark matter is?
Yeah. I'll do the best I can, because I don't know a lot about it. What I know about it is that it exists, obviously, and that everything sprung from that. So, like, originally everything, all that was there was dark matter, and then the light and the sound came out of that, and that became creation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
yeah, because I read some place that this dimension is like 70% dark matter, and it's kind of like
we
Greek
have a
to
lot
me,
of. I've been out in the dark matter, so I got to tell you, back in the day when I was a stupid moron and I would meditate and do transcendental meditation, and I would astral out of my body because I didn't know any better when I was young and stupid. And I'd leave Earth and I'd look back at the Earth and see that it was a nice round ball and all that. But anyways, I went into the astral belt, the photon belt. I went into all those places. But the one thing I did is I went all the way out into a place called the dark void. It's called the dark void.
Oh, okay.
I went there.
I've heard of it. Yeah. What was there?
And that scared the hell out of me. And then I came flying back to Earth and slammed into my body, and my body jumped like, I don't know, 4 feet off the ground, because I was terrified when I went all the way out into the dark void. And that was what you call dark matter. That's what that was. I was like surrounded by dark matter.
Well, the other thing that I've heard recently, that people should be extremely careful now, unless you're extremely experienced like yourself, to avoid astral travel.
I'm actually warning everybody to not do astral at all right now. Like, don't even do it at all. Like, I don't do it anymore. I stopped doing it a long time ago. And here's why.
Good.
Because remember what I told you at the beginning of this show about all the demons, that there were 81 billion, and now there's like several hundred billion here. So they're literally standing around your house waiting for you to astral so they can jump in your body. And then once they do that, they trap your soul out there, and you're not coming back. You're done for. And then they take over your body, and they're operating it from that point on.
Wow. Well, don't people go there possibly without even their awareness of it when they're sleeping?
No. So you have there. Okay. So there's a difference between, and this is what Yeshua explained to me. Astral traveling is when you have to willingly leave your body. Like, you have to willingly do that. You're not going to accidentally do it while you're sleeping, because you have, guardian angels that are there to make sure nothing bad happens to you. When you're doing it of your free will, when I'm making a free will choice, I'm going to astral travel. That's a totally different thing than when you're sleeping. What he told me you're doing when you're sleeping, and I leave and I travel the multiverse, and I do quantum leaping into people and all kinds of stuff. The show Quantum Leap's real, by the way, because I do it every night.
Remember that show they had, Quantum Leap?
They still have it. They have a new version of it now.
Oh, wow.
So it's real. It's real. So when you're doing that, he explained to me that it was fractaling. He said, I'm sending a fractal of my consciousness out. I'm not fully leaving. He said, that's why I'm able to come back in and wake up so quickly. Because he said that my soul is staying in my body. Okay, my astral, it's staying in my body. It's a portion of my consciousness is leaving.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If that makes sense. So because if my entire soul were to leave my body, then anything could just jump right on in there, and that's just dangerous. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But the enemies were capturing parts of my consciousness for a while and holding them prisoner. I had to actually work with Michael and some of the archangels to collect back pieces of my soul. They had taken pieces of my soul, my consciousness, and they were keeping them hostage, like in a trap. They had traps that they set where they were trapping them, and I actually had to pull them all back in and collect them.
Wow.
Because they were keeping them for a while. Yeah, it was really bad.
Wow.
So yeah, and how I knew is I was having a lot of dizziness and a lot of kind of out of body feeling and a lot of like I just didn't feel it all there. I was kind of like, what do they call brain fog? A lot of brain fog, a lot of out of body. Yeah. And then I called some of my psychic friends and they tapped in and they said, oh, well, some of your consciousness that went out was getting caught in traps that they laid for you. They set traps.
And they can see that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why now every night before I go to sleep, I shield all the parts of my consciousness and everything. I do shielding every night before I go to bed. I used to not do that, and now I do.
So how do you do that?
You just ask Archangel Michael to put a multi-dimensional, multi-layered shield of protection around your body, mind, and spirit, around your consciousness, your astral body, your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, your light body, your energy body, all the different parts of your body, which I talk about in Ascension 101, all those different parts of you. You ask for all those parts to be shielded, and you say that you want the shields across all times, spaces, places, dimensions, and parallel realities.
Okay. Now, do you think this in your head or do you say it out loud, or it doesn't matter?
No, you have to say it out loud because they can't interfere with your free will and they can't read your thoughts. So you have to always say it out loud.
Oh, so you have to say it out loud. Yeah. I've just been getting the impression that more of what we do, we should actually, when it comes to praying or anything of that nature, we need to be actually verbalizing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to verbalize your whole prayer. Now, what I explain to my clients when I'm doing a session is the only thing that can hear all of your thoughts is God. Okay, your creator, because we're connected to God. We never break a connection. Like I'll have people call me and say, oh, I feel so disconnected to God. And I just laugh and go, that's not possible. But you're always connected. You just may not be connecting on a spiritual level with God, but your soul is always connected to source at all times. So source can always read your thoughts because we all make up God. We're all little parts of God. So God can read our thoughts, but how do you want to say, other beings, like other ETs, guardian angels, your ancestors, your family members who died, all of them, none of those, they're not allowed to read your mind. And even the guy that they call Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yeshua ben Yosef, that guy is not allowed to read your mind either. They keep trying to say he's God when he told us over and over again that ye are like gods and ye will do greater things than I. You know, he's told us that he's our brother. He's not our master. He's not God and lording over us. He's our brother. You know, kind of like that song where they sing, Jesus, he's your brother. You know that song? You know that song? Yeah. Anyways, he's our brother. So
well, maybe we should go to the Savior thing too while you're at it.
Yeah, there's a post that's going around Facebook and it shows all of these famous spiritual gurus that have came to earth for different religions, you know, the Buddha, the Christ, the Muhammad, the this, the that, every religion going all the way back to ancient times, thousands of years ago, had a leader who the people believe are going to come back and save them. Like every religion teaches this thing that there's some guy coming back to save them. And it's usually whoever founded their religion or whoever the religion was, you know, created around. They all believe that they're all waiting for someone to save them. Guess what? God helps those who help themselves. That's a very famous phrase. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We're here to save ourselves. Nobody is coming to save us. It's us standing up, standing strong in our sovereignty and working together as a team. And the one thing Yeshua told me in 2011, and he told me again in 2019. In 2011, he told me when I started doing a healing business, he said, the only way you're going to be a successful healer is you got to get together with the others like you, and you need to work with them as a team. And then in 2019, when he told me about the Ascension happening, he said, the only way that all of us are going to ascend is we all have to work together as a team.
That when we can't wake a lot of people up, that's a tall order, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the difficult part.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yep.
Well, we have much to go through yet, it appears.
Well, you can go through stuff. I have time. It's 8:19 my time, and I have the time, so you can ask questions.
Okay. Is anybody out there who's listening have any questions that they'd like to ask? Because now's the time to ask them.
Yes. And I'm different from Jenny Lee because she knows different things than I do. I'm not a remote viewer. I don't do that.
That's
so, yeah. I'm a psychic, but I'm not a remote viewer.
Yeah. That's always something that kind of I wonder about. I don't know. I don't get it.
Anna said, which is probably why there are groups doing work on Earth.
Here's a question for you. Kimberly, if you ask God to be with you while you sleep and dream, is that as good as what you said?
It's not doing shielding. You're just saying, God, be with me. That God's already with you. So that's like redundant. God's always with you, but you have to, it is up to you. You have free choice to shield up or not shield up. And all the light workers right now are teaching everybody that we all have to shield up. So you have to ask with your mouth for the shield to be placed around you. And I call in the angels to do it, because every person who walks on this earth right now has guardian angels that are there to protect you, but you need to ask for stuff like this. And then there's the archangels as well. And so you need to ask the angels, just say, angels, please place a multi-layered, multi-dimensional shield of protection around my body, my mind, my spirit, my astral body, blah, 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 across all time, space, places, dimensions, and parallel realities. And that's how you do it every night. And you should do it in the morning. And I also do it around my house, my property, my cars, my husband, my kids, my cat, my bank accounts, my electronic devices, all of it. I shield everything.
Yeah. Well, now's an especially important time because of the demons that so many have been brought in and let loose. Well, isn't there some way that benevolent ones could help with that or help get rid of them? I mean, it's really making it extremely difficult for humanity to ascend.
So the ETs can't do anything about demons. It's the angels fighting the demons, and you can't see it going on, but there are millions of angel armies on this earth right now in the astral having a battle with these motherfuckers. Excuse my language, but that's what. So there's.
Uh-oh, you just froze. Kimberly, are you still there?
Well, that's so weird.
Are you still there?
Nice, unexpected restart, started, defaulted. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now, yeah. But you're frozen. You're
okay. Let me okay.
Go out and come back in. That'll probably work.
Okay. I'm doing okay.
There. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, you're back to normal again now.
Sorry about that.
I don't know what happened. That was kind of weird.
Oh, I know what happened. I don't know if you see all this flashing going on in the background behind me. There's like flickering and flashing going on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the beings. The beings that are standing here with me right now are creating a lot of energetic disturbances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was, or if it was the what do they call it?
Look at that!
reality.
It's just flashing away. Nope. It's
it is.
Look at that. That is
The energies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's these guys that you see in the picture. They're actually physically standing here, and their energy can be kind of overpowering on the electrical equipment.
Okay. Yeah, your audio. Someone just said is much better now that you.
Somebody said there was a flash before we lost you. Yeah, that's the angelics. Because of what I was saying, they were actually kind of acknowledging is what that was. They were acknowledging because there's this huge battle going on between the angels and demons right now. It's huge. So yeah, it's pretty extreme.
Now, are demons given an opportunity to surrender or to go back to source, or is that absolutely impossible for that to even happen?
They can surrender, and but the way that it was explained to me, and I think I put that in my book Ascension 101, or maybe the Yeshua book, I'm not sure which one I put it in, but demons, the way Yeshua explained to me is the demons are actually AI created by Satan. Oh, they're not even they're not like a person. You can't rehabilitate them or whatever. You can give them a chance to do it. What you can do is you can give them a chance to surrender on their own, or they will be obliterated. And if they're obliterated, it's not good for them. It's a very bad, the way it happens is quite terrible. They get a more compassionate judgment if they turn themselves in. if that makes any sense. If they don't, if they have to be gone after, the way they're destroyed is pretty violent.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, some of them have been pretty nasty, haven't they?
Well, I have to deal with them too. So what I didn't talk about is, besides shutting down timelines, a lot of the stuff I'm doing at night when I leave, and I'm exhausted every morning when I wake up because I'm just working all night, is fighting demons. And they're ugly and creepy looking. There was one time I went into a house of a family from Mexico. There was a family in California. My angelic self went into their house, and they had two little kids, and there was this big red demon. He was like 8 feet tall, and he was in their house, and he was trying to manipulate the children. And I went in there, and I turn around and I look behind me on the couch, and what's his name was behind me? Yogananda or Babaji. I can't remember the guy's name. It's one of the ascended masters who's from India, who has long black hair. He's one of the Indian ascended masters. He came along to watch what I was doing. So he was sitting on the couch behind me, and I'm like, are you gonna help me here? And he goes, no, you got it. You're doing fine. Just continue. And I literally took my sword of light and erased this thing. I erased it. Like, it's almost like my sword of light became a magic eraser, and I just erased it. I obliterated it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about Commander Thor? Do you know anything about him?
I know he exists. I know he's been working with what's called the Alliance on Earth, the Earth Alliance. He's been working with them since the bad guys showed up, and since or not the bad guys, but the Greys. Since the Greys started screwing with us, he's been here also helping. And that goes back to World War II-ish, somewhere in there, you know.
He's a Venusian, isn't he? He's from Venus.
Yes.
And,
he is.
What I've seen is that he is working in the tunnels a lot and obliterating the demons, the reptilians, the evil creatures.
Yeah, my thing about the ET people. So my boss, well, he's really my brother, but brother boss, what I call him, because he doesn't like to be called boss. Is this guy here, Yeshua? Yeah. He's told me that I'm not allowed to engage with any of the extraterrestrials at all because he said it's too dangerous because a lot of them are going to the dark side, kind of like Darth Vader, you know, they're fallen to the dark side. And he's worried about me getting sucked into that. So he told me he would prefer that I don't talk to them at all. So I don't ever communicate with any of them. Because I try to keep myself a pure channel to source creator all the time. And the only way I can do it is through Yeshua and creator. That's it. I don't talk to any. I mean, I work with Archangel Michael, Yeshua, some of the other archangels, but that's it. I don't work with any extraterrestrials. Now, I will tell you, I've had extraterrestrials visit me to check in on me and say hi. Like I have a bunch of them that are actually protecting me. I have several that protect me. The ships are up here all the time. I mean, one day there were 40 of them up in the sky. We have a lot of ships. I am being protected by them, and they'll pop in on my meditations and go, hey, just want to say hi. But I don't like call them out and have conversations with them because I was told not to engage. So
interesting.
Yeah, well, because they're trying to keep me from getting sucked in with any bad riffraff, any of the riffraff, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they're pretty powerful bad guys.
Yeah.
New England Dirt Roadie says, who's winning?
We are. Polite is winning. We are winning. Yeah, the light's already won. In the other timelines, higher dimensions, whatever you want to call it, we've already won. Like in the future, we've already won. Everything's playing itself out. But yeah, we've already won. We're going to win. We are winning. Don't worry about it. It's all going in a positive direction. It's just that it's taking a lot more time to work itself out than we all would hope for.
Well, sometimes when we say that we're winning, the angelic, sometimes people feel like they don't have it to do anything themselves. What would you say about that?
We all have to do something. Everybody needs to do something. Yeah. What do you need to do? Every single day, you need to be kind, loving, compassionate, respectful to yourself and to other people. The reason I don't say forgiveness, that word, is because there's a big deal about that. That was another lie told to people through the Bible that was changed thousands of times over about forgiving. Jesus never told people to forgive everybody. He actually never taught that. He taught people don't cast your pearls before swine, which means there's some people who are not worthy of your forgiveness. So do you forgive people? Yeah, but the ones who are worthy of the forgiveness. Because if it's somebody like a Draco who eats all the humans on the earth after traumatizing them and torturing and abusing, and then eats them or drinks their blood, somebody like that is not worthy of forgiveness. Sorry.
Good. I shouldn't think they should be.
Yeah. But what was the question? Because I kind of went off like the.
Well, that was, you already answered it. It was about who is winning. But here's another question.
Yeah.
That you get. Kimberly, have you been visited by spirits more often now, or are you calling in Archangel Azrael to help them cross over? How are you helping spirits cross over?
Actually, I work with Michael on that. I don't work with Azrael. I work with Michael. And okay, so let's tell a story that you haven't heard on the show, I don't think. Back in the summer, let me think about this. When was it? Was it September? It was back 3 months or more ago, maybe the summer, the spring, whatever. I went with my husband on a little trip with some friends of ours, and we went to Idaho, to Boise, Idaho. And we went to the prison that was built in the 1800s, and they killed lots of people at that prison, lots of people, and it was super uber haunted. Well, next door was the botanical garden. And when we're in the botanical garden, Michael came in and told me he said, Kimberly, we need to clear this place before you go in there, because if you go in there before we clear it, you're going to be attacked, because we were going to go into the prison and do a tour after we did the botanical garden.
Mhm.
So my husband and our friends went up this really steep hill, and I was really tired and I didn't want to walk up it. And so I'm like, you guys go, and I'm going to go sit on the bench. Well, I kind of told a white lie, because I didn't go sit on the bench. I sat on the bench for 5 seconds. Then I got my ass up and I walked over to the wall of the penitentiary, walked up to the wall of it,
Mhm.
brought in Michael, and we cleared the entire penitentiary. Like the entire penitentiary. We sent all of the demons to the light. We sent all of the spirits and the ghosts to the light. We sent everything. And it was so cool, you guys. It was so cool, because when I went into that penitentiary and I toured it, all I could feel and see around me was this amazing light, just light everywhere. It was like light everywhere, light. We like flooded the whole place with light. No demons, no ghosts, no bad energy. It was gone, 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 gone. Now, normally if I go into a building, I'm so sensitive to dead people, spirits, all that kind of shit. I am so sensitive to it. If I go into a haunted like house or building, I can feel it, and it can make me sick. Like it can make me want to vomit. It can make me dizzy. It can make my heart go crazy. Just all kinds of stuff. It was so cool to be able to walk through that prison, that huge prison. We went through the women's section. We went through the men's section. We went through every inch of it, and all I could see were the beautiful rose gardens they planted and just all this light everywhere. We even went, the only place that I wouldn't walk just because I just didn't want to go there was my husband and his friends went up to the area where they executed the people, and I didn't want to go see that. So I stayed down stairs.
A prison system is a pretty horrific place where people are given extraordinarily long sentences, and it's all based on financials that people aren't even aware of.
Yep. Somebody asked, is it true we're all working when we sleep and fighting for the good? So yes and no, Kathy. So when you say we, the light workers, the star seeds and light workers and earth angels are working when they're sleeping. The normal humans, no. So it's not everyone on earth doing it. It's the ones who came here to free this planet from the suffering and from the cabal. Everybody who came here now for this ascension to liberate the planet, we're the ones that when we're sleeping at night, we go and we fight. But there's a huge group of humans here on this earth that they don't do that, because they don't have that ability. So that's the answer to your question. So Kathy, yes, you are doing that when you sleep, you specifically, because you're one of us. Okay. You're one of us, my dear. So you are definitely leaving and doing that at night. But there's plenty of people who aren't doing that. So it just depends if you signed up to come here to do the work or you didn't.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Because my camera's
yes, you're frozen. Yeah, you're frozen again, but we can hear you.
Let's do this.
There, you're back again.
Okay, Yeshua, do you suppose you can do something here with this? Actually, you know what? Archangel Metatron, I need your help here. Can you do something with the electronics so I don't glitch anymore, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Okay. So Anna is asking, there are so many places where there was war on Earth. Are those places being healed?
They're being healed. Yeah. There's a lot of light workers that are actually physically going to those places and doing rituals to heal them, and a lot of grid work too. Like I have a lot of friends who go to the grid line areas that have been bastardized by the cabal. They've gone and they've like I went to a church when I was in southern France a month and a half ago, I was in southern France, and I cleared a cathedral that was built on a ley line or grid line that had all this dark energy, and I cleared that out. But yeah, there's a lot of those places like Gettysburg and those kind of places, they're definitely being healed.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good question, by the way. Good question. Kathy says she's honored, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kathy, we're honored to have you on our team, dear.
It's funny because people, even the light workers that are doing this, some of them don't even know that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because it's too traumatic and for their human mind, and it would make them physically sick. See, I've been through a lot in my life, and I've had a lot of warrior training. And so I'm able to see, and I don't even get shown all of it. There's times when I'm doing stuff at night that's so horrific that when I wake up in the morning, I don't remember, and they purposely blank my mind out so I won't be traumatized. But I've done soul readings for clients where they're going out at night and they're doing really disgusting things and coming back and their minds are getting wiped so that they're not traumatized and made sick or even die of a heart attack. Because could you imagine if you're somebody going down in the tunnels every night? There's a lot of us that go down in the tunnels and are rescuing kids. Mm-hmm. I had an episode where there was a truck with 50 of these little boys ages. I called one of my psychic friends and I said, what was up with that truck that I saw? There were 50 little boys in there ages 4 to 9. They were in their underwear. They were all crying. They were bloody. They were bruised. They were sweaty and they were crying. I had to give that over to Archangel Michael because I couldn't deal with it. It was just overwhelming for me. It was really overwhelming to see that. Because I'd never seen anything so horrific in all my life. And I just said, I'm out of here. I can't do that. Because I was sent in to help one little boy. There was one little boy and his sister, and I was there to help them. And then I went outside and I saw that truck. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. And I called in Michael and said, okay, I need some backup here because this is over my head. And then I came back into my physical body and I woke up and I felt sick. I felt sick and grossed out and cried for probably a couple weeks at least after that experience because it was so horrific. So most of the time they're like blanking your mind out so that you don't have those horror because it can make you physically sick.
That's what I was told. Why I don't remember my dreams.
Yeah.
For that reason. Is that true?
That you don't remember. Okay. Yeah, because you're a warrior angel. You're a warrior angel.
Okay. Well,
you're what they call a seraphim. So those are warrior angels. And so you're probably battling a lot of demons at night while you're sleeping, while your body's sleeping. Your higher self is battling a lot of demons.
I hope I do a good job at kicking their ass. I think I do. Anyway, let's see what this comment is. Why are we stuck in certain areas to shine the light and not moved anywhere else for most of our lives? Will there be a shift to a better environment at any point? Now, I've moved all over. That's not true for me at all. I've done a lot.
That's only true for certain people. So I actually explained, Anna, thank you. I actually explained this to a client today in a session. So the term, when you look at what the term starseed means, it has a lot of different connotations. You know, you come from the stars, you came to Earth. But one of the biggest things is you've been seated in a specific spot to shine your light. Like my client was telling me how her whole neighborhood, all the people are just total a-holes. They're rude, they ignore you, they're nasty, they're selfish, you know. And she's like, why was I put here in this neighborhood? And she said, I feel so alone. And I said, well, I've lived in neighborhoods like that. I've totally lived in those kind of neighborhoods. You're put there as a lighthouse beacon to radiate the light into the darkness. And we're all seated in specific locations. And sometimes your team will move you around to other places. I was in the same spot for 27 years. I was in the same spot. And then they moved me 400 miles. So sometimes you're moved, sometimes you're there, but it's actually an arrangement your soul made before you came in that you were going to go to that specific location and be a lighthouse beacon to shine your light into the darkness, because there's a lot of people around you that are asleep and you know, they need you, they need your light, they need your help.
It was interesting that I was drawn to this area in Sedona where there's supposed to be, you know, a lot of ascended masters and light workers and so on, but there's also a lot of false light.
No, there's a lot of false light. So Sedona actually was corrupted several years ago. A bunch of the Illuminati went there and did a lot of dark magic crap on Sedona. And
That's what
Sedona,
I heard.
yeah, they
that's
opened
true.
up a lot of demonic portals in Sedona, and they put a lot of black magic in Sedona. And the last time I went there, the energy was horribly icky. I've been there several times in my life, and when I was there when I was young, the energy there was absolutely stunning, beautiful energy, amazing energy. And then the last time I went with my kids, and the energy was horrific.
How long ago was that?
Let me think about it. Maybe 8 years ago, 7 years, 7, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I still sense quite a bit of darkness around here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are, that I think are cold, that are selfish, that are.
Well, when I was there the last time, I met a whole bunch of narcissists. I mean, they were just so narcissistic. I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah. And spiritual workers, right?
Yeah, and I got screwed over by this lady, and my daughter and I actually both got screwed over by this one lady in Sedona. I'm not even going to go into the story, but she totally screwed us over. Lied to me, through her teeth, totally took advantage of me, and totally screwed me over.
Well, I for some reason I felt I was called to this area.
Because you're spreading the light there. You're holding a frequency there to keep it from being destroyed by the dark. Because if we didn't hold the space where we are, we're holding space for Mama Gaia with our light frequency. If we didn't do that, then those areas would be engulfed fully in the darkness, and at some point it would collapse the whole planet. It would ruin the whole planet. So
Wow. Yeah, well, that gave me goosebumps. So that's right on.
yeah.
Okay, well, we're going past an hour and a half, so I think unless you have some other things to say,
just be the light, just be light, just be love. That's the most important thing. I mean, if you want to ascend to 5D, the way you do it is you are service to humanity. You are service to others. You're kind, loving, and compassionate to yourself first, because you got to give yourself unconditional love. And then you are kind, loving, and compassionate. I had to move my microphone out of the way because I think it was causing a lot of the glitching on my screen. You're kind, loving, and compassionate to yourself first, and respectful to yourself, and then to everyone else. And then every day, I'm going to give everyone watching this homework. And I do this to my clients too. They get lots of homework. But the homework for everybody watching this broadcast is, I want you to take out a piece of paper as soon as you can and write down a list of all the things that make you feel happy and full of bliss and joy and happiness and love. And I want you every single day, without any excuses. Do not make excuses, because you can fit stuff in. Somebody asked if I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's called Spiritual Growth Journeys, just like the name up there. And I have a Rumble channel with the same name as well, Spiritual Growth Journeys, because YouTube's trying to shut my ass down, unfortunately.
They already did mine.
Yeah, they keep removing videos and saying I'm breaking their rules and blah, blah, blah. And they put me in jail for like 30 days.
You can't say anything about this. You can't tell anybody.
Yeah, if you say anything about that thing at all, they pull your video down. But anyway, so the
pull your whole channel down if it continues.
Oh, absolutely. So you're going to make your list of things that give you joy and happiness and peace in your life. Peace. Create love, joy, bliss, and peace every day. So you're going to write this list. It could be things like you enjoy knitting, you enjoy roller skating, you enjoy turning on loud music and dancing naked all over the house. You enjoy awesome sex with your partner. Whatever it is, write it down on your list. And do one or more of those things every single day, because when you're creating that joy and bliss and happiness, you're pulling yourself up higher and higher into frequency. Blast your house with 432 hertz music as frequent as possible, because that will also keep the entities out of your house. They don't like it. They don't like that high frequency music. So blast your house with the high frequency sound. That will really help.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And that's a good
Yep.
project. To
And
take
watch
on.
comedy. And my favorite comedian, you need to
that's
laugh
good.
because what Yeshua taught me, there's a famous painting of Yeshua. It's called Laughing Jesus, where he's just like, oh, he's got his head back and he's just laughing,
Uh-huh.
kind of like the laughing Buddha. He's got a really good sense of humor. He's always saying goofy things to me and always teasing me and saying silly, things. Laughter is one of the highest frequencies. My favorite my new favorite comedian right now is a guy named Fluffy. Do you know who Fluffy
I've seen
is?
him. Yes.
Yeah, Iglesias, Gabriel
Yeah.
Iglesias.
Yeah.
So Gabriel Iglesias Fluffy, go to YouTube and put in Gabriel Iglesias Fluffy and binge watch all his videos. I promise you will be peeing your pants out more than you can imagine. And you will be raising your vibration. You may have to go wash your panties, but you'll be raising your vibration all the way up to 700 on the meter. Anna says she loves Fluffy. So do I. Fluffy, I want to go hang out with Fluffy, man. He is such a cool guy. Yeah. Anyway.
So Kathy is talking about 963 hertz.
No. So if you watch the video interview I did on my channel, Spiritual Girl Journeys, I interviewed Stellar, who's a famous spiritual singer. All of the numbers, let me get my cell phone so I can explain this. This is something good to explain before we get off, because this is new information everybody has to hear about. Oh, okay. So they've lied about the frequencies with the music. And so on your cell phone pad, it's got, if you go to your cell phone dialer, it's got 741, 528, and 963 or 369. Those are all bad frequencies created by the bad guys. 528 too? Yep. Those are all bad frequencies. Wow. Yeah. And the one that you want to do is 432. That's a good one.
Isn't that the same as nature?
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 432. It's the same frequency as Mother Nature or
That's
Gaia,
what's been
whatever.
Really heartbreaking is I used to go out in nature all the time. Now I'm without my transportation, I'm not able to get there.
Yeah, I know. That's hard. There's another one. It's like 750 something or 790. That one's good. There's one that's like 8 something, but it's not 852. So you don't want to do 852, 528, 963, 639 or 693, 741. Those are all bad. All the ones that are on your key. So here's the, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. No, you can't. It's whiting out. But my cell phone keypad, go to your cell phone keypad. Those are the bad frequencies. Why do you think they put them on your cell phone keypad in the first place? Think about it. They're bad frequencies, and they put them right in the order that they're bad. 741, 852, and 963. They're right on my keypad in the order of their badness. But go watch my video where I interview Stellar on my channel, because she explains it, and she's coming on my channel tomorrow morning again to talk even deeper about the frequencies.
Oh, that's fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not going to be live because I pre-record everything. Mm-hmm. But I'm having Stellar on again tomorrow to go deep dive into the frequencies. Okay.
How soon do you get it up after you do it?
Same day, later that day. Okay. Yeah, usually later that day. 432 it is, Kathy says. Yep. I've been just blasting 432 like crazy. And then there's one I listen to. It's like it's 700 something, but it's not 741. It's like 752 or something. I don't know, but anyways, and you can also do like 952 or 9, I don't know. And then there's 1111, 1111, that frequency. That's okay. So those higher frequencies are okay. Just don't do the 741, 8522. Yeah.
Do you know if the frequencies, when sometimes on YouTube it'll say it's 432, is it really 432 or did they lie to us?
No. Okay. So how you can tell is if it's a reputable channel that's got millions of followers and people read the comments from people, because if you go down and read the comments, you'll see people saying this is bogus. This isn't really 430, because there's a lot of experts out there that come on and put comments on those videos. Mm-hmm. So when it's not really 432, like one time I caught a video where I went to the comments and several people said, this isn't really whatever. So
Yeah.
read the comments. If people are saying they're having good experiences, so like, let's say, for example, you can turn on one that's for headaches. So let's say you put on one that's for headaches and you have 3,000 people commenting on there that it literally got rid of their headache in 20 minutes or something. You know that it's good.
That's a good way of,
Yeah.
that
If
makes
people are preaching their really positive results that they're getting, you know it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New England Dirt Roadie said he heard that Dr. Lynn Horowitz talking about the same thing about positive and negative frequencies. I had him on a long time ago too. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell. Anna was saying you can tell when something's off. And okay. And
Oh, let me share this with
there's a
y'all.
story.
I want to share I want to share this with y'all. Let me drink some water though really quick because this is important. My baby daughter, who's a really, really sensitive starseed, she's very, very sensitive and empathic, and she's sensitive to sound frequencies. And
Mhm.
every time I would put on the 528 before I found out from Stellar that it was bad, because I just learned this from Stellar.
Yeah, I
But
even got one of those frequency things that's 528. Now
right?
I
I
know.
have all kinds. I had to throw out my tuning fork. But anyways,
Yeah, that's what I had. Yeah.
yeah, I had to throw mine out. So anyway, so every time I would put those frequencies on the TV, my daughter would come in screaming at me, turn it off, turn it off. It was really making her sick, like physically sick.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and
well,
these young star seeds are very sensitive. We have to listen to them because they're all very sensitive.
okay.
Any
Well,
other
anyway.
last minute questions, or are we done?
I think we have everybody.
I'm going to go have some vanilla ice cream.
Oh, I wish I had some. Organic, I hope. No.
Oh yeah, I don't eat anything that's GMO or any of that crap. Yep.
Makes a big difference. In ice cream, I've noticed. Some of the cheaper ice creams, it's got stuff in it. I don't know if it's nanotech or whatever, but it's not normal.
No.
There's a big difference between that and the organic ice cream. But anyway, based on that thought, thank you so much, Kimberly, for everything you've shared with us. And I think we need to do this again because I want to bring your other talk about your other book about stress management, because I think that's actually absolutely critical right now.
Oh, it's very critical. I mean, when Yeshua gave me that book, so that book took me 5 years to write, and I started writing it in 2011 and I published it in 2016. And all of the information, some of it came from my own research, but a lot of it was downloaded, from Yeshua. And when he asked me to write it, because I never ever thought I'd ever write a book in my life, I had no intention of becoming a book author. He came to me and told me to write that. And he told me the reason why is he said, all of God's children on this earth are all stressed out, is what he said. He said, all of the children, all of God's children are stressed out, all of them.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to take too much more.
Yeah, somebody said fruit shake and freeze it. That sounds yummy. If I do a fruit shake, I like to add in protein powder to it.
This is because New England Dirt Roadie said dairy and sugar. That's some good inflammation.
Yeah, I don't eat it very often. I do it once in a blue moon. I stay away from processed sugar and I stay away from dairy, but once in a blue moon, I'll do it. I have to do something because I don't drink. I don't have any, how do you want to say, bad habits? I don't have any bad habits or addictions. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs at all. And so when I'm really, really under a lot of stress, I will go for the ice cream or something. Yeah, I'll go for comfort food.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. I had Asian food for dinner tonight. My daughter did Chinese stir fry, so.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, I eat extremely healthy, but every now and then when I'm under a lot of stress, I'll go for the naughty stuff.
It is comforting.
Oh, and you were talking about,
I think it's worse for some people than it is for others too.
That's true. So earlier you were talking about like an eternal being versus like what was the other word again?
Immortal.
Immortal. That's what I'm wearing. I don't know if you noticed. It's
Yeah, I did.
yeah,
The
that's the
monk.
Ankh. That's
Yeah.
for immortality. It represents immortality and your soul going on forever and ever and ever. It came from ancient Egypt, but
I kind of used to think that they meant the same thing, but then somebody else said that that's not true. So I don't know. That's still up in the air, I guess.
well, like I said, one of those is referring specifically to people, and the other word can refer to pretty
To the
much
soul.
anything.
Yeah, or spirit,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll have you on again. Thank you for
Okay,
your
cool.
time.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. And everybody who's watching, I love all of you. No, I can't hear you. That's weird. I can't hear you.
That's because I muted myself because I had to cough. So that's my bad. It's nothing to do with you. It was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought my thing broke again.
Oh, geez. I don't know if I can take this question real quick. Can we actually retain some of our memories from our work during our sleep? I have seen where I had one memory, but I am hoping to remember more.
Yes, absolutely. And before you go to sleep, tell yourself, I am going to remember everything when I wake up. You can actually brainwash yourself to do that.
I think that's what we have to do. And you do it
Yeah.
repeated times. Repetition works.
Yeah. And you have free will. You can choose to remember really awful things if you want to. You have angels that are trying to protect you from remembering the traumatic stuff right now, but your free will usurps their whatever. So, you can just tell your angels, say, hey, I know you guys love me and want to protect me, but I want to remember.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kimberly. We're going to call this a wrap. And thank you so much. And thank everyone in the audience. Thank you for being here. Please check the description. And if you can support in any way, it's much appreciated. Thank you so much.